Keshia Chambers is a civil engineer who works for the firm OHM Advisors. Keshia then goes on to explain her love for engineering, started at a young age, and she followed her father's footsteps into engineering.
My name is Keshia Chambers. I am a civil engineer. I work for an engineering, planning, architecture firm called OHM Advisors. And at OHM Advisors, I serve as a municipal rep for our clients. Usually they are municipalities. And so we go into a municipality, we serve as their engineer, and we help them to prioritize their projects and also to find funding for their projects. So that's pretty much my main focus at the moment. And I have a client that
Seems interesting. Engineering caught my eye.
Yeah, there's a lot more than just designing, which I don't really serve as a actual designer. I do a lot of project management.
Okay.
And make sure that we have the right people assigned to the task, and monitor the projects and make sure that they get completed within the budget that we have and within our set time schedule.
That's actually pretty cool. That's what I went to school for, is project management. So I always had an eye for that in engineering. Yeah. So what's your educational background?
I have a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from Prairie View A&M University. I went to Georgia Tech Institute of Technology, where I got a master's in city planning, master's in public policy, and I also have a MBA from Case Western Reserve University.
So during your education and even now, have you ever had mentors? We don't need names, just like why they were your mentors.
I've had mentors, and I guess what I have established as a mentor is someone who I can kind of monitor from afar. I haven't really developed those close mentor-mentee relationships, and a lot of times I wish that was something that happened. But I've always identified someone whose career that I was interested in, and just tried to track and monitor what they were doing and see how I can kind of parallel their path.
Okay. Then these next two questions are kind of similar, so if you have the same answer, it's all good. Going back, what would you tell your 9-year-old, 10-year-old self about STEM to get more interested?
9-year-old, 10-year-old self, explore and don't be afraid to try something different. So within this STEM space, there are so many different avenues that you can get into. As I was coming up through school, it was pretty basic. Yes, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical, and chemical. And those were pretty much your choices. Now there are so many different types of engineering fields that you can venture into, computer, ceramics, polymer, there's just so many different ways. So I would say, open yourself to exploring some of those options and just maybe seeing what might be the best fit for you.
Okay, then based off that, our main audience is kids K through 12. So what advice would you have for them nowadays to get interested in the STEM?
To get interested, or if they're already
interested, involved?
Interested, which involved? Let's see, for getting interested, find someone that's doing something that you're curious about. And even if it's just some videos you watch on YouTube, or someone that you can actually go and talk to and just ask about their experience and what they find interesting about their work and what they do. And then just kind of dive into it. Don't be afraid to take some deep dives. I call them going down the rabbit hole, and just really exploring that specific area. And that just exposes you to some different things you might never known about. And, you can come up out of that rabbit hole and go into the next one, but always be willing to learn something different and to explore something new. Always be willing to kind of the why, you get one answer, then why, and get another answer, and then why, and try to learn as much as you can about a specific field. The world of STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, that's just such a broad spectrum of areas of interest. And, don't just think you're pigeonholed into one thing. Just, be brave, be bold, ask the questions, and try something different.
That's great. Because I know when I was in high school, which maybe 5-6 years ago it was, we didn't learn much about STEM. We had one STEM event, And after that, it was just like, yeah, that's your interest on STEM. I think it'd be cool if like now, like even just like have like a small like class a week or two, maybe
Hmm.
to get kids more interested.
Absolutely. And I was fortunate, my father's an engineer, so I think I had a little bit more exposure
Okay.
to what it was. And I was always interested in math, which is, everybody was like, oh, you like math, you should be an engineer. I mean, there's some truth to it, but I don't think that's the true requirement of being an engineer. Engineering is just, there's so much more to it. So if maybe math isn't your strongest subject, but you still are curious about it, don't let that discourage you. You can push through the math concepts, you can find tutors, you can get some study groups, you can get through the math. But I think with engineering, as long as you're inquisitive, you're inventive, um, you want to continue to learn more, you like putting things together or taking them apart. I think those are the main things around engineering. It's just
Right.
willing to maybe make some changes, to make some improvements, to make something better.
All right. Then my last question I have for you: what does STEM mean to you? Obviously, besides the acronym of it.
STEM means, STEM is like an open door. So STEM allows you to be the explorer that you want to be. And that's what I really think it means. Right. It has a pretty basic, science, technology, engineering, math, but those are kind of like the fundamentals of things we do every day. You couldn't, drive down the road without one of those components. We couldn't be doing this over, this interview over Zoom without one of those components. And something about that is just really intriguing, that it has the ability to let you see, do, or be, whatever you want to be or do. And that's kind of what intrigues me, what I like about STEM. It's just endless opportunity.
I actually do have one more question. This is like personally for me because I'm just curious. If you can go back and not being an engineer, would you be some like still being STEM, maybe like science, technology, or something with mathematics?
Mm, I think I used to always say if I wasn't doing engineering, I would be a video choreographer. That was in my teen years. Would I do that now? No, I wouldn't do that now. But I think that because engineering overlaps so many different things, so even if I was interested in business, guess what? There's a scientific or engineering component I can connect to that. Or if I was interested in, theater, guess what? There's a scientific or engineering, component I can connect to theater through the lighting, through the sound engineering, through, special effects. I feel like there would be always something that would draw me back to the science and engineering of things, even if it was outside of, normal STEM activities. There's always something that's rooted in STEM that I think will continue to compel me to kind of stay in that spectrum.
That's awesome. So you obviously like what you do then.
Yeah, I like what I do.
That's cool.
Absolutely.